Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock. And yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Saturday evening, guys. I want to say hey to all my subscribers new as well this season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Guys, I'll give you a minute to read this text. Okay, so obviously he has a potty mouth, so I had to cross out the... Because, I got some sanctified, holy, honey, people up on here. And if they happen to see that word, honey, they're going to, pass out. So I just had to do that for somebody else's sake. So I'm going to read my response to him. And I said, I feel you 100%. The chosen ones, sadly, are always getting burned. Sadly, sometimes it's the people most close to you. They use and abuse you because they know our hearts. They know that God uses us and gave us a good heart, big heart. Most times, they won't even do the same for us. Being chosen is a lonely path, but God is close to us. This is why the same users, sometimes family included, can never get ahead themselves. Never change your heart, but change who you give it to and set up major boundaries. I'm currently doing that. In this season, God wants to give us so much more. But these past hurts, wounds, and traumas have us doubting our own self. We have to start seeing ourselves the way God sees us. God is demanding, all caps, demanding me to set up boundaries before he opens the next door. So the last several days I've been extremely busy, including this weekend, by obeying him, listening, and establishing boundaries. Okay, so that's my response. All right, so I want to speak about a few things because I got tons of emails since I've made that recording this morning. I got tons of emails similar to this. I just pulled this one out, and let's chat. Okay, so again, my chosen ones, if you consider yourself to be chosen, tap in. Just tap in. There's no, you're chosen because of if you're chosen, you will know it. Tap in, period. And I've made several recordings like this, but I know I have a lot of new people here, so I just kind of wanted to, update and elaborate a little bit further. All right, my chosen ones. So again, God uses you strategically in whatever way. Right? You're chosen. He's using you in whatever way to be a blessing to others, to be a mouthpiece, to be this, to be that, whatever. But sadly, most people don't have the heart that you have. Again, you're in a very small percentage of people. The majority of people in the world will literally use, abuse, take advantage, try to get one. They're just people. They're just people. They're just people. But we can't deny that it doesn't hurt. We can understand all day long that we're different, because we are. We're not the norm. We're cut from a different cloth. But regardless of knowing that we're different, but when it's the people closest to you, when it's the people who you help, when you had good intentions on helping these individuals, whoever those individuals could be, and when they're, disloyal, or they're just whatever, it hurts. Can't deny it. Period. We have to also be sure that we are also now operating from a place of past wounds, meaning many times as a chosen one, you were rejected in some form. Because remember, you don't fit in. You're the oddball out. I mean, which is a good oddball. For me, I consider it to be a good oddball, but you never fit in. So, and that can be if someone if they excluded you, right? Because I was never the person who was excluded. I was always included, but I just didn't fit in. I didn't want to be there. Like, it was small talk. It was just, I just didn't want to be there. But it's still a form of rejection. Let it be someone excludes you, or if you were somewhere and you felt alone and you felt different. Right? So keep in mind that these can be past seeds from childhood, from college, from first marriages, whatever. And what happens to people who are dealing with abandonment issues or rejection issues, what happens a lot of times is you become people pleasers. Right? Because see, as a people pleaser, now you're trying to do everything in your power to get someone to accept you because you were never accepted. So that wound is still there. They rejected you. You didn't fit in. Right? Were you given up for adoption? Like, what could have happened in your life that made you feel like someone didn't want you, you were not enough, etc., etc., etc. So as you become an adult, because that was never healed, that wound was never healed, unless maybe, someone caught it, an adult caught it, and maybe you went to counseling, things like that, therapy. But if it didn't, and many times it's not caught, especially in our community, many times you then transfer all that stuff over into adulthood. So now you got an individual who God is using for purpose and calling and, just a chosen vessel. But now you have some underlying issues. You have that people pleasing thing going on. So this is why it's also hard to walk away even when God had told you to walk away. This is why you have to move in the spiritual realm, meaning when God says it, I don't care who agree. Right? You have to fear God that much that whoever's in your ear doesn't matter when you hear from God. Okay? But if you're still operating from a place of people pleasing spirits, things like that, your flesh alone couldn't do it. Flesh alone will constantly be in a tug of war. Because remember, your heart is pure. So even though you found out this person just is mishandling some things or whatever. Okay, so you're mad, you're angry, you pull back. So what happens? Now that person's calling you, crying and begging and pleading. What is your good heart doing? Your heart is breaking because your heart is pure. Remember, their heart is not pure. Your heart is pure. So those tears could also, on their end, because their heart is not even pure, so those tears are phony and fake sometimes. Sometimes, right? Sometimes it's real, because sometimes people don't realize they messed up a good thing until it's really, really gone. But flesh alone, your heart, and seeing someone else's heart break will not allow you to be able to walk away. So then what happens? You give them chance after chance after chance, and then what happens? You get burned again. And you swear up and down, I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to help them anymore. And now the situation happens where your heart is all doing the right thing, and the cycle continues. The saga continues. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. But one thing I was telling someone the other day, and I made a conscious decision myself as a chosen one, is this: never, ever, ever, ever allow someone to harden your heart so much that you refuse to help someone else. Because the next person you help may truly be a genuine soul, right? Because there are some genuine grateful people out here now. You just got the majority is just who they are. They're just people. But you got some genuine people out here that God needs you to reach. So you cannot harden your heart. Because if you harden your heart and refuse to still move in love and to move, as a vessel, then God can't use you. If he can't use you, he's not going to bless you. He's giving you overflow to use you. But now you let one or two or even three or more individuals take advantage and hurt you, and now your heart is ice cold. And now you see the next person, and you hear God says, bless this person. And you're like, nope, because the last person took advantage of it. So why would God keep giving you overflow? You see? Because see, when our flesh gets in it, we're hurt. We're thinking about, just how wrong they did us and all that. That's what our flesh does. Very valid. Very valid. But then you have to intentionally tap back into the spiritual realm. This is why I'm in overflow. This is why I can always help. On the flip side, this is why they always need help. This is why they can never get ahead. This is why they're in the same place they were 20 years ago. Because they're doing the same thing, jiving and conniving and all that nonsense. They're doing the same foolishness and can't get ahead. So you never change your heart. Never harden your heart. Change who you give it to. When you're in flesh and you're hurting, you can't hear from God. When you're hurting like that, the flesh has taken over. So now what's happening? Your emotions are going crazy. You're thinking about how you shouldn't have done that. You're thinking about the lie they told. Now you're trying to think about this. That it's pinging all over the place, your emotions. And then it sends you back to the person who did something 2 years ago that was similar. It sends you back to the same family members who it just takes you all over the place. So get still. When you're still enough, then God will come and give you your downloads and tell you and show you who to remove, who to never help again, how to put up certain boundaries. He will also show you that there's a possibility you went wrong because there may, all caps, may have been some of you in there people pleasing. But when he gives you the boundaries, set those boundaries in place. And it's important to do it when he tells you to, because again, there's a grace that makes it easier. Because remember, your heart is different. So the kind of boundaries that God requires us to put up sometimes, people with huge, pure hearts, especially my empaths like myself, the flesh alone will not be able, we may be able to create it, but to continuously force the boundary, it's going to be hard. So we need to move when we hear God. We can't drag our feet. There's something right now I'm putting in place that has been going on for years. And it's not even a bad situation. It's just that it has ran its course. It's ran its course. But this boundary is not even to remove the person. This boundary is about compartmentalizing it, where it's no longer stressful, if you will. So this is why it's important to understand the boundaries that God is requiring you to put in place. Because sometimes it's not even about removing the person completely. Sometimes it is. But sometimes it's about just putting certain boundaries in place where the person doesn't have access to you, if you will, or you're not helping them as much as you used to, or you're only helping the exact way that God told you to help. The exact way. None of you. The exact way that God told you to help. Okay, so now here you are with a job opportunity. Ding, 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 ding. Ask the user, did they get a job opportunity? And see what they say. So you see how our blessings come back from God and not people. When we can transform our thinking to that, right? It have to be intentional. It's just not natural. We're fleshly beings. But when you can just transform your mindset and your thinking to, my blessings come back from God. This is why I'm abundantly blessed. This is why I'm constantly in overflow. This is why, quote unquote, I have a whole new job opportunity. God is repaying you for the things you did when you moved from a pure heart. And what happens? Just like you said, questioning yourself. Don't even, self-esteem, you don't even, God, it's crazy. God is blessing us at a magnitude that we really deserve, because he's been taking notes from day one, not just last summer when you helped that person. No. This is a lifetime, because the chosen one always had a good heart, right? If you're chosen, especially my empaths, you've always had a good heart. That just didn't start last summer. So God has been taking notes. So we are in a season under an open heaven right now. And there's a certain group of people, my chosen ones, that God is repaying us big time, massive, because of all the things we've done. And we don't even know how to receive it. We're doubting. Listen, let me tell you. Same thing happened to me. But I'm reading your message, right? Opportunity presented itself, and I'm just like, I think they emailed the wrong person. I think they emailed the wrong person. Y'all looking for me? Kizzy? Me. We don't even know how to receive it, because we've been hurt, used, abused so many times. But do you know that that's the trick of the enemy? That is Satan, who wants us to sit here and believe we are not worthy for the very same blessing, the magnitude of blessing that God is trying to release to us right now. So Satan's whole attempt and target is to target our confidence, our self-esteem. That stuff, listen, blow after blow after blow after blow, that stuff does shake you, period. But like I told you also, my second response to you, we may bend, but we never ever broke. Period. God is not going to even allow us to broke. Now, we are broke if we're not listening, and he's telling us to pull away from certain things, or et cetera, and then that grace is moved because we're making our head hard, then yeah, you may broke. So I made a conscious decision, and I encourage you maybe to do so as well, is that whatever opportunity that God is presenting to you, if you really want to get Satan back, hold your head up, hold your shoulders up, and you walk into that opportunity like you deserve it, because you do. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.